I thought I'd take you through the process of what I do for my music courses, and in particular, for this instance, I'm looking at my vocal courses. So the last set of songs that I've done, and I'm now on something like my fifth vocal course, was traditional songs of Lincolnshire. And that was because I happened to have some books on my shelf. I have masses of music and song books, and I just thought I want to do some of those. So the first thing that you have to do, obviously, is pick the songs, and I've been using the Percy Grainger collection. And I picked them either because I love the tune or because I love the content, or both. The first song, most definitely more because of the tune, but I picked Once I Courted a Damsel. And once you have the tune, then I sit down with the piano, which you can see here, and I work out what I think is a nice chord structure. I then improvise three other harmonies to that in a recording package, and I'll show you what that looks like too. Once I've improvised the harmonies that I think I like, I score them out in Sibelius. This is quite an interesting thing for me because I could never really read music properly, but I've been teaching myself a lot over the years, so I can score them out. And Sibelius has this wonderful thing where it plays it back to you. So when I hear it against each other in that very dry setting, I can then decide, do I want that clash, because sometimes I do, or do I just need to modify that slightly, or is the timing slightly wrong? So I modify it in Sibelius. I then print off the score, and then I play the score either on the piano, or sometimes I just put in a MIDI file, but normally I play the parts because I prefer the sound of a natural piano into the computer program that I have, which is Logic Pro actually, and then I sing those parts, and I keep the piano in there because I think it's helpful for my, well, it's helpful for me as well, but it's helpful for my participants to have another sound to tune to. The human voice has a broad band of harmonics. I have one of those voices, for instance, that often sounds like it's singing much higher than it is. And if men are trying to tune to my voice, they'll go into a falsetto, whereas actually they might need to be singing an octave down. So if they can hear the piano, this helps with that. So I'll show you the score as I write it out, and I'll show you some photographs of the original book covers as well. So that's stage one. I record into Logic Pro. Here you can see that actually there's some blank blocks here. The blank blocks are because I originally recorded the backing thing as a MIDI file, whoops, and not as a piano, as I talked to you earlier. Oh, I should be able to see that. So there's the whole of the block. So these are where the piano would be, but in this case they're MIDI files, which because I renamed, they went missing. You learn as you go along. These ones with the little lines on here are me singing, and here it says, down here you can see it says Vox tune. So that's where the tune is, in the tenor line, but you've also got a bass vocal down here, alto here, and soprano here. So I send my participants an individual line, each individual line, but I also send them the tune with one other part against it. So the tenor is where the tune is. They get the tenor and the soprano as an MP3. They get the tenor and the alto as an MP3, and they get the tenor and the bass as an MP3. And that's so they can hear the parts working against each other, but not be overly confused by the too many parts going at the same time. So then I create a second Logic file, which is here. And this is where all my participants are. Before I do that, I wanted to show you here, you can see I've got participants MP3s. I open that up, and in here, there they all are. I name them all so that I know I've popped them all in, and all of those parts. So it can end up as 20 or 30 parts, because each participant, that's the beauty of online workshops, can sing as many parts as they want. They can do all three or just the one. And I'll play you a section of this so that you can hear the end result. So this is what they get from me. So here we have all the parts singing, and we have either a MIDI file or the audio files of piano parts, depending on how I've played it in.
Once I courted a damsel of the fairest beauty bright, and I did my best endeavour for to gain my heart's delight. I courted her for love, though I was but a farmer's boy, and she the squire's daughter, her father's pride and joy.
And this is what I get back. So it's all their MP3s that they send through to me. I put it into a package, I mix it all together, and I get this glorious sound out of it. And this is Ensemble 15.
Now this damsel returned my love with right good wilful measure, but your father he made quite plain to me that it caused him great displeasure. He threatened poor dear Sally to keep her under lock and key, and he planned to have me sent away for to serve her term at sea.
So that's it from beginning to end. I invent the harmonies, I score them out, I adapt them, I then sing them all, I send them off, we learn them on the night, and then they send me their MP3s and they make this glorious sound. And that all comes out of one little folk song from Lincolnshire, which I think is absolutely amazing.